Hey everybody, I'm Keith,
And I'm Justin.
and we want to welcome you to Forgetting Walls. We want to welcome those who are return listeners. Welcome back. Woohoo, yay. We love the fact that
Woo!
you've come back and saw us again. Or
Episode 2. All right.
maybe not saw us, but to listen to us again. There we go, yeah. Uh,
Yeah.
so, I just made a whole lot of noise, but yeah, we want to say thanks for coming back and hanging out with us. And if you're new, awesome, awesome. If you're new, go back and listen to episode 1. if if you dare. Yeah, it's cool that we're starting back. No, you got to go listen to episode 1 because you got to understand what happened at the end. And if you did
Oh,
listen to
yeah.
episode 1, you might have heard a noise. That sounded like this, and I apologize. I thought I checked the garage really well for any critters, but I don't know what was
Yeah,
going on,
is there
Justin.
a dinosaur
Uh,
or something?
I mean, I didn't know if Jurassic World got busted open and there was little critters, but I swear it couldn't have been a real dinosaur. And I started to think, that movie Spy Kids. What was it? 2, 3D? I don't know which one it
Oh,
was.
yes. Yeah, it was the second one. Yeah.
Yeah, that
With like
dude
the
had.
little miniature creature things.
Yeah, exactly. Those little, I don't know, brontosaurus, snail, scorpion things. I don't know what
Oh,
was
that's
going on,
such a
but
vague reference.
I know. But anyways, probably each week you'll hear something a little ridiculous at the end of the show, and I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe we'll get rid of our
Yeah,
infestation of little brontosauruses running around the house. And if you did listen to the episode and
we'll see
go,
what we can do.
what in the world was that sound? Then we have accomplished our job. Oh my gosh, it was. I apologize. We're just two dudes, man, being random. So this is episode number 2. We're
Yep.
coming to you
Dos.
1 week later. You know what's cool about that, Justin?
Yeah, what?
That we decided to do an episode every week instead of every 2 weeks.
Hey, that's right.
Yeah,
So every week, every Monday, you can expect a podcast to show up on your feed.
and I hope we get better at doing this because, man, what we're doing right now, you don't even want to know. We have had some technical
Oh,
difficulties
yeah.
today, but hey,
It's
this
all right, though.
that, I want to say this is for you, the public, our audience, but it may be just more for me and Justin. But speaking of all those things, Justin, we just had a New Year's past. We're what, January 3rd now, and dude, Happy New Year's. I
Yeah.
hope you had a good New Year's. Did you do anything special?
No, I mean, I drove up to Charlotte and pretty much just hung out with friends and had a few drinks and pretty much fell asleep pretty much right after the ball dropped. So, not too crazy of a night, just kind of hung out and then kind of hung out in Charlotte for a few days and then just literally got back up to Boone last night. So, yeah, that's been pretty much what I did.
Wow, man. I don't know who the old guy here is, you or me, because man, we partied hard.
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah, man. Well, I won't say we partied hard, but we did have I had some friends over. Well, a friend's family, him and his wife and his 2 little girls, and they're little girls, and they were crazy, wide open, and they love being around my girls, which are teenagers, and we had a good time. We ate some food. We had some political discussions, some more political discussions. I just love I just love teasing his
Those are
wife.
always fun.
It's just about teasing his wife. That's all it is, really. But we
Yeah.
no, we just hung out. We had fun. We watched, watched some disciple videos. Man, we cut up, listened to some music. Kids broke out the Xbox and the Kinect and the Wii, and they did some dance party, dance central stuff. It was kind of fun watching them. I even participated. Probably the best thing of
Oh
the night.
wow.
Yeah, yeah. It was kind of ugly, but probably the best thing of the night was,
Go
well,
for
I
it.
won't say the best thing of the night, but a highlight of the night. My buddy brought over one of those like the Samuel Adams like winter edition packs that had the different lagers and
Oh,
seasonal beers. Yeah, it was real nice. Had the Samuel Adams White Christmas special. Dude, that was surprisingly good.
all right.
Very, very good. It was just good to have
Hmm.
taste the new beer and see what it was like. I know, Lord knows, don't forget, people, we're not a Christian pot. We are Christians, and we believe that having a beer every once in a while is okay. It's not going to kill you,
It is all right.
and it definitely won't send you to hell. So you'd be okay. But if that's not your thing, no big deal. But anyways, yeah, we had a good evening. I danced, did a lot of stuff, man. Yeah, I was wore out. We went to bed right. No, well, I take that went to bed thing, but they left the house right about 3 o'clock in the morning, so we did it right.
Oh wow.
Yeah, man. So
Dang.
it is what it is, and it was what it was. So yeah, we
Nice.
trying to figure out how to make this work today with all our technical difficulties. I think we got them all straightened out. So uh,
Yep.
we've got some
Yeah.
things coming up, and probably just say, hey, again, thanks for showing up with us, and we'll probably get into our our specific meat and potatoes of it today. Give you a little bit of meat, a little bit
Yeah.
of starch, get your stomach full on a topic that we received on our Facebook post, which was really cool, and you're getting ready to hear all about it. So, Justin, go ahead and take it away.
Yeah. So we got a message on our Facebook page the other day, which was really awesome.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So we've gotten a lot of great support. If you haven't followed us on, facebook.com/forgetting walls, Twitter, any other social media, you can probably find us there. But yeah, we got our like first message, and
Yeah,
it was really cool to see people, responding so quickly, and
yeah, especially when we haven't done anything yet.
yeah, I know.
I mean, it was right about the first. What when we I guess we got the page up.
Yeah,
I don't even know if we
we
had the
had one.
first podcast up yet, though.
No, no, we didn't have the first podcast. It was just, the about us and first you had a blog post on there. But
Yeah, that's
yeah,
cool.
so it's mostly word of mouth. People heard about us, so yay.
Yeah, and it was cool because I think the point she was making, or the question that she brought, was pretty relevant to what we're doing as. Gosh, I don't even know what to call this. I mean, should we stop a minute and try to really figure out, maybe explain to them? I don't know if we explain to them what we call this. I mean, I know
Yeah,
it's a
yeah.
podcast and we have a website and blog, but
I guess could you call that a ministry?
well,
I
yeah,
mean, it kind of is. But then you have to ask, like, is a Christian band, is that a ministry?
yeah, and
Or,
yeah, and I get that. I meant, I would say a band in of itself is not a ministry,
yeah,
unless you really want to call it that. I mean, I guess some people do call their bands ministries,
yeah. I don't know
but
though.
I don't see how. I mean, you do ministry as a Christian, but is
Right.
the band the ministry? I mean, maybe that's.
Hmm.
I mean, I've heard good topics on it. I've heard a couple of different. Um, uh, I guess you would say Christians on both sides of the fence on this one, saying yes and no.
Hmm.
I guess it's technically how you want to label ministry.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I guess with this, we'll just call it a project for right now.
Yeah, I like. Yeah, I like project because this is a project, but we know that
Yeah.
people aren't.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, people aren't the
Good plug.
projects, but this could be a project. It could be a project maybe just to do nothing but answer questions. Well, I'm not going to say answer questions because I think that may put too much on our plate to have all the answers, which we'll never have all the answers.
Absolutely not. Yeah, we are not uh, a source that. I mean, I think we're kind of credible in some way. I like to think.
Well,
Uh, but, we're not people to go to for every answer.
no.
We will be the first to admit we do not have the answers to most of your questions. Um, but we have opinions and we have thoughts and,
Yeah, I
you know.
think I think sharing our opinions and maybe being in the realm of when we do give advice, not saying that it's good advice all the time, but I do think that we, you know, could be of some help. Anyways,
Yeah, hopefully.
so like we were saying, and I want to say this, I guess from my perspective, I know Justin has his perspective on it too, but when I saw, or when Justin contacted me and said, "Hey, we got our first message," and then I read it, and I'm like, it's exactly what we aimed to do. It was the exact
Yep.
thing that we wanted to happen. We wanted somebody to share a story with us,
Yep.
and not to say that we wanted them to ask us a question that we could solve. And I don't think we'll be able to solve any. I mean, realistically, we can't solve anything that's not a part of our own lives because, that's going to be up between the person and God if they believe in God, or
Yep.
a person and whatever they believe in, or if they don't believe in anything. That's up between them to maybe share their story, and we can offer some insight. And I don't know,
Hmm.
it's just, yeah, I guess it's just where we're at. I really didn't think we was going to start off this series, but I guess we just like hopped right into it.
Yeah, let's go for it.
Yeah. So, but yeah, like I said, when he contacted me, I was like, man, that's just so cool. Because I would rather spend time. I mean, I love goofing off, and Justin knows I love goofing off. I'm just one big
Oh
clown.
yeah.
More goofing off than I really need to at sometimes. Sometimes I don't get anything done goofing off, but I mean, like I said, it's fun to goof off, but I really want to be able to tackle things that people are going through, and whether it's somebody who is a Christian, somebody who isn't a Christian, somebody who agrees with me, that disagrees with me. I think it's fun to, for me, and maybe fun's the wrong word, but it really gets me stoked to know that there's people out there who are having are, are really just trying to find the answers so they can walk life. And I really would love to see people walk life with Christ, but if that's not the case, man, I'm still want to walk life with them.
Yep. To be able
So
to come alongside them and be able to, maybe help or just be someone for them to talk to.
yeah, absolutely. And we have seen, and again, I try not to put a negative spotlight on the church, but man, I think the church has become a good place to alienate people because of being different. And
Yeah.
I don't want to see that. I want to see the church because I love the church. And when I say
Hmm.
church this time, I know we talked vocabulary last week, but I'm talking about the smaller churches that are identified by denominations, who have alienated people. I'm not saying the global church as a whole has done that, but it's being done. You see it being done daily. It's been done to me. I know it's been done to Justin.
Yeah. And
So
especially, we live in the Bible Belt in the South, so
yeah,
we tend to see some of the uglier sides of, you know, kind of the
much
local church communities.
much uglier sides.
Yeah.
But also in saying that, we just want to be able to I, be a light, be a hand, be, I don't know, something. But
Yeah.
I guess we should just go ahead and get into
Yeah, the
yeah,
question.
the question, and maybe it's not as much as a question, but um, well, I guess it is a question. I may be just getting them ahead. Look, I'm telling you, people, we this is the second episode, so it's probably gonna still be pretty bad, man. We're working out so many kinks, but I believe in what we're doing. So just bear with us. Um, so I don't know, Justin, do you want to kind of?
Yeah, so it's actually who sent it in is a friend of mine from back in college, and she saw the page and saw that we had links and all that stuff, and I actually hadn't talked to her in a while, and I mean, sweet girl, but she asked this question that she's been struggling with this issue of friendships in college, and that she said that many of her friends, are atheists or non-religious and not Christian, and will say things about like quote unquote stereotypical Christians. You know how it's easy to banter and to kind of
Oh yeah,
bash all those, and sometimes she feels like she just goes along with it, but she still feels that she's being kind of pulled in two different directions because she grew up
right.
Christian and a very Christian background, but with her friends and all that stuff who kind of bash the stereotypical Christians, she kind of feels pulled in those two different directions. And so yeah, she just wanted to hear us discuss, she said how to balance one's own faith and spread the word of Christ while still maintaining those relationships and with her friends. So yeah, that's what we hope to kind of discuss right now.
Yeah, and it's going to be a back and forth kind of conversation,
Yeah,
and because you could pick a side of the fence to stand on here, and remember, that's what we're talking about. Usually the grass isn't greener on either side. We've got to meet somewhere in the middle
yeah,
when we deal with issues such as this, especially when we're talking about people, because here you have a person who seems like, I want to feel like their heart's reaching out because they're really torn in two directions. How do I maintain a good relationship with these people? Because she's probably wondering, how far is too far, maybe, or you know
hmm
what line does she have to draw in the sand to say, I can't step over this line as far as
hmm
dealing with, what may be going on because she is a Christian.
right,
But at the same time, she doesn't want to alienate her friends.
right, right.
I think you're going to get a lot of banter from two sets of Christians who will, and I know we were looking at some scriptures, and let's take one little side note here, real quick. Okay, remember, we're Christians. If you hear paper rattling, we do have our Bibles. We
Oh
actually
yeah,
open our Bibles up on this podcast, so if you don't like it, I don't know what to tell you.
we are old school up in here.
Yeah, we actually flipped the pages.
Yep.
But we did look at a couple of scriptures that were interesting. And not that we'll get into the scriptures and maybe interpreting the scriptures, but what we want to say is there could be cases made for Christians in relationships with non-Christians. I mean, we've all heard that don't be unequally yoked, and don't
Yeah.
associate with unbelievers, this, that, and the other. But without putting too much
Per-
theology in it, there's some specific language that's going on there that is not talking about your average friendship. So I want to
yeah.
kind of, I don't know about Justin, but I want to kind of go ahead and dismiss those. I think for us not to be able to build an acquaintance, associate, friendship type of relationship with non-believers is the biggest hindrance that we'll probably have in spreading the gospel.
Yeah, and all it's doing is isolating us from, different people who believe differently, which, if you look at Jesus and look at his life, it's not like he hung out with all the, priests and the scribes and all that. He went to the people who were hurting.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, if we want to get down to brass tacks, I mean, we can pull up scripture that says don't associate with believers who are not living a life that's I guess would be a, good before Christ. I'm talking about the carnal type of Christians who just think they can do whatever. And I mean, we
Right.
could I mean we could go into some deeper verses. So I think the first thing we may need to do is address the fact that being or having relationships with people who aren't believers is not a bad thing when it comes to friendship type of relationships. And like I said, I may be speaking for Justin, but
No,
I,
you're pretty good.
yeah.
I'm with you there.
All right, good,
I'll
good.
let you know if you go off the rails.
All right, so if I step on his toes, he'll yell, "Ouch!"
Oh yeah.
But I think that I mean, for me, I wanted to surround myself with so many people that need to hear Jesus. And quite honestly, if I'm contending that's people outside of the walls of the church, then guess where I have to go? And guess what
Right.
I'll have to do? I mean, I'll have to build relationships.
Hmm.
So I don't know. Maybe you think that covers that point of just having relationships with non-believers? We'll just throw them all in one category. They may not like that, but somebody who's not a Christian, you think
Yeah,
that
I
could?
mean, yeah, I think that's accurate. I think that's I'm with you there. If again, and always, at least in my, what I believe in my faith, I always go back to Christ. I always go back to Jesus.
Right.
And what did he do?
Mm-hmm.
And he hung out with the prostitutes, the tax collectors, those who
Exactly.
were considered the lowly, those who that was what was so scandalous, partially
Yeah.
about
Absolutely.
what he was doing, was that he was hanging out with these people that were, ritually unclean according to
Yeah.
Jewish tradition, and so I think to try to make ourselves, to try to elevate ourselves as better than other people just because we believe in something while the other person doesn't believe,
Right.
we're all in the same boat. We're all pretty messed up.
Yeah. I think.
And yeah, and so I don't like that whole like separation, that we need to not associate with people, da da da. It's
I
yeah.
don't even know if it's part of the topic, but I just think about, when Jesus was, he walks in, and Lord forgive me on this, my memorization is horrible, but he walks into that one place and he's like, oh, your sins are forgiven, and all the Pharisees are like jumping up and down. It's like, whoa,
Yeah.
what are you doing? How can this man forgive sins? And he goes, oh, so what's easier, to say,
Get
uh,
up and walk.
yeah, get up and walk, or forgive this person his sins. He's like, all right, so let me show you something. Get up and walk. And it was like everything that Jesus did was so countercultural, and especially with the relationships he built. And people don't, people really don't understand the relationships that he built. I mean, even in the smaller moments, like, when the
Right.
woman was caught in adultery, and here she comes and she's being thrown to the ground, and I guess that's what happens. And Jesus is over there doodling from. This is my opinion. This is the Keith version of the Bible, but he's over there doodling in the ground, and they're making their case, and he's like, so which one of you have it? Which one of you is without sin? Basically, cast a stone at
Yeah.
her. And everybody
Yeah.
hauls tail, and he looks down at her, and he doesn't judge her, and he doesn't alienate her from him, and he's and he kind of just forgives her and gives her grace, and says, go on. We can't do that. Like, if somebody was to do that in a church, like, they would throw somebody in front of the church and say, hey, look at this sinner, we should do something about this. I think we would be the first to jump and like publicly stone this person. I think we would forget about what Jesus did sometimes.
Yeah, because it's so easy to forget grace and to forget how we've been forgiven, and
Yeah.
to put ourselves as better because of that.
I kind of feel like, and oh my gosh, you're going to hate me for this reference, or people
Oh gosh.
might not hate me for this reference, but they might think me a little weird for this reference. But I think of it like,
Go for it.
I think the church wants to bottle up grace like the fairies want to bottle up the pixie dust. They want to keep it in. They're trying to save it up and store it. And they don't want to let anybody get it because, man, if it falls into the wrong hands, what can happen? Oh my gosh, everybody be flying. But but I
Interesting
mean,
analogy, but keep going.
it may be the wrong analogy. I just feel like they're building all this stuff up so they can use it within their own community, and I feel like Christians sometimes want to bottle that grace up all for them because I don't know what the reason is, but they do it, and grace should be freely given because that's what Jesus did for us. Is He freely gave grace, and how can we show others love if we don't actually have these relationships in as friends with people? If we don't try to figure out who they are and what they've gone through, so that when we're talking with them, that we're not just saying things aimlessly. I mean, how many? Let me ask you the question, Justin. How many times have you
Yeah.
spoken with somebody who's a non-believer, and stuck your foot in your mouth because you didn't know them and you said something that was hurtful because of something they've
Oh,
experienced in their
yeah.
life.
Oh yeah, I've done that. Especially when I was like an early Christian. Oh man, I did that so many times. Because like I was the kid that always loved to argue and always loved to like find points against people and like try to
Mm-hmm.
prove them wrong, in
Yep.
Jesus' name.
Oh yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
and there were so many times where, whether I knew it or not, I went up to this person and was just like arguing with them and like trying to put down all their points, and I didn't get to know them as a person. And
Right.
it's something that I'm embarrassed of, but Jesus has forgiven me of that too. But it's still it's really easy to do that, and it's really easy to not see people for who they are instead of just like we say, like they're problems to be solved
Yeah.
instead.
And
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 that's
so
not the way to go about it.
no, it's not. And I think that's maybe when we're dealing with those who aren't like us up front, as we're talking about this point, maybe to just kind of maybe settle on this point that every single person out there is a person, and you're gonna, I mean, I swear you're gonna hear this from us all the time, and I guess I can swear in this sense that it's true. You're always gonna hear us talk about people just being people. I mean, you're a person, I'm a person. There's people all around us, and as people we should be treating each other as we want to be treated. And for people to alienate other people, I know there's not a person on this planet, and if there is, so what, I'm wrong here, but I don't believe there's a person on this planet that purposely wants to be alienated from anyone. They want to have some type of community, some type of relationship. I think as humans we crave it. I mean, you see it. We all flock to somebody, whether it's through
Yep.
marriage. I mean, okay, there may be the one or two people out in the world who are complete hermits and they don't want anything to do with anybody else. So, it's just their way of I don't know, shutting themselves down from the world. But I don't know really anybody like that. There's some form of hunger for community. So
Yeah.
you know, in that sense, I think we need to see that yes, let's settle the first point. Yes, having a relationship inside of the friendship realm. I'm not talking about marriage or dating or anything above and beyond that. I'm just talking about building relationships on I guess a friend level
Yeah.
is something that we need to be doing with people
Yeah.
who are different from us. I don't care if it's different because of their skin color, different because of their belief system, different because of their economic status. I don't care what's the difference. I mean, you should be building relationships with people. I mean, I mean, Jesus did that. Look at the string of people that Jesus hung out with. I mean, if you just look at the 12 disciples, that was a muddy group of just crazy people. I mean, come
Yep.
on. So, I guess to get into maybe the main point, the things that stick out to me in in her little message to us is that
Hmm.
where our friends are talking about stereotypical Christians, I guess
Right.
laying down some, I mean, stereotypes about who Christians are, and I guess she feels like she's pulled in a couple different directions because maybe she doesn't want to say anything against them because
Hmm.
they are her friends. So, or maybe that it may hurt her ability to stay friends with them. But I guess on the
Yeah.
other side, there is the part of trying to be obedient to God in your calls,
Hmm.
and I don't want to say stand up for the Christian faith because I really don't feel that's something we have to do, but I think there's a point where you're accountable of the realm you're in, so you're not maliciously, I mean, I don't want to say denying God, but
Hmm.
you have a malicious intent of not standing up for what you really believe in. Almost, I mean, could it be considered some type of denial to look the other way when maybe lies or malicious things are being said about other Christians or Christ in of himself?
Mm. Yeah, and is silence a way of, is silence denial in itself?
Mm-hmm.
Is not saying anything a form of denial?
Right.
And then, but then I have a knee-jerk reaction against that because I guess
Yeah.
like with all the Facebook posts and all the stuff like if you deny me in front of my father, share this to a
Well,
hundred people,
yeah. I don't
and
like that stuff.
I don't either. And it's like by not doing it, you're somehow not standing up for Jesus.
Yeah,
Um,
I really think that's less of what honestly, I think that's less of what Jesus is talking about.
yeah. So I mean, I see both sides, but I think there definitely comes a point where I mean, you have to say something. Now, I'm not saying that you have to offend or you have to be like, you shouldn't say that because da da da, or because this, and this. But instead, kind of, I think there comes a certain point where when, uh, whether it be stereotypical Christians or Christianity itself is attacked or is quote unquote attacked, or um, you kind of there's a certain responsibility that you have to uh, I'm not saying defend the faith
Right.
because or try to defend God because I
Mm-hmm.
think God can take care of that himself. Um, but there is a kind of responsibility that we have as people and as followers of Christ. And, if we truly love Christ, then it's like, say someone says something negative or starts bashing someone that you love, someone that you really care about, like
Yeah.
your wife or,
Right.
one of your kids or whatever. It's you're gonna say something and you're
Yeah.
gonna have to say something, if you truly love them.
Yeah.
But then again, I think that can be taken way too far, in that any instance that you say a television show says something negative or controversial about Christianity, then you post a video saying we should boycott this TV show because that they said
Yeah.
this.
Right.
It can like anything, it can be taken to an extreme. So,
Yeah. Well,
it's
I was going to pose a question back to you too. That if she is, she is a Christian, so when they say things, does she feel like she's lumped into that category? You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
is you know, are they speaking? And I will say indirectly about her because if it's stereotypical Christians, then Christians are grouped together because that's what
Yeah.
they see as Christians doing or being or whatever it is. So
Right.
I think more along the lines is she trying to deal with what they're saying and it being related to her as well because I think
Right.
that's a huge thing because I know I've been places when I was younger and I know we could probably both attest to it but man I wasn't as big then as I am now and I didn't have the nasty attitude then as I can pull off now. As a kid I was a pushover and I was bullied a lot. In those situations, I didn't speak up or speak out because you were afraid of what the others might do in those situations, and a lot of times it may not have been physical bullying, but it may have been just the words they were saying because they affected me, or I was relating to those personally, and it could be the same as this situation with her, but maybe it's not. Maybe it's not a bullying situation at all. If it is, it's more of an indirect thing where it's not something they're just coming out directly and doing because they are considered a group of her friends. But we'll have groups around us, people that we call friends, but we know that some of those people are really not our friends.
Well, I mean, you also have to ask the question, do her friends know she's a Christian?
And that's a great question to ask. But in this situation or any situation like this, where you may feel like that you are being bullied, um, that may not be the case. You It just may be the fact that they don't know what you believe. Uh, you think you may have mentioned that, hey, I go to church, or some you had some offhanded comment that you're a Christian, but sometimes those things fall on deaf ears, especially in a group of people who's not really paying attention or may not believe like you. But sometimes you just have to take the time to let your friends know what you really believe and how important your belief is to you.
Right. And so I feel like either way, in this situation, either way it goes, it opens the door for conversation. whether or not she feels like she's personally attacked because she identifies perhaps with some of the stereotypes, or she feels like she's grouped in with those stereotypes. There's an opportunity to be like, hey, not all Christians are this way, and kind of give a personal sort of, this is coming from me, and that the fact that she's their friend
Yeah, yeah,
and that she's already built that relationship with him will mean so much more, and actually, it will have a bigger impact on what they think about Christianity and Christians because of their relationship to her. Rather than being Christianity and these Christians being some sort of abstract concept and group outside of themselves,
and
it'll be something very personal.
yeah, you're right. I think that will be the difference maker, and could be advantageous for her. I mean, if the people around me um, that call me friend, I mean, if they're around me calling me friends, then I really want them to be my friend. I don't want them to be fake. I mean, if it is fake, you'll learn to know it. I mean, you'll find out. I mean, your friends support you, they stick by you, they listen to you, and they do all those things, even if you guys believe differently. So I believe if she makes a point to speak to her friends about what she believes, and she'll find out who her real friends are and who the fake ones are. And of course, I'm not sitting here trying to point out, who the fake people are or anything like that. But, there are people around us who are going to be fake. And sometimes they do it for their own agenda. Maybe they are benefiting from the relationship that they're in with you. It's advantageous for them to be your friend, but it's not for you. And it's more of a one-sided friendship. I mean, I've experienced those friendships. I know those things happen. And what's weird to me is that, I mean, I don't know how I can offer anything to people. I mean, I don't know what I'd have to offer in the first place. And it's not trying to boast, but it's just like, why is that person my friend? Because it seems like they're just taking, and there's no back and forth. And that's not a real friendship. So, you know, I think it's a good litmus test for a person, especially a Christian, to see who is around them that really loves them like a friend should. I mean, friends develop a loving relationship with each other, not something like a husband and wife or boyfriend and girlfriend has. Nothing of that nature, but there is a real, um, you know, you care about each other. You have a genuine affection for each other where, you know that person, you love that person, and you say, I'll stand by this person no matter what.
Right. And so I think that'd be, a kind of good indicator of, who cares about her around her. And I'm not saying that she has to, every instance that they say something negative
Right.
about, stereotypical, or in this case,
Hmm.
probably like fundamental Christians and
Yes, yes.
Christianity,
Yeah, yeah.
is, yeah, not every time they say something, she have to go kind of put up a defensive wall because that's totally against what we're doing here. It's not. She shouldn't put up a wall and be like, okay, well, I have to defend my faith. I have to, defend God and Christianity. Therefore, I have to say these things and do these things, even though it hurts my
Right,
friends.
right.
No, I'm not. I'm not saying that at all.
Yeah, yeah.
Instead, she needs to kind of open the door for conversation, not let
Yeah,
these
yeah.
things slide by. Because when someone mentions Christianity, and I mean, that's right there. That's an opportunity to say something about it, say something about her faith. Not in an overbearing, pompous, better than thou sort of way,
Right,
but in
right.
a look, this is what I believe, and
Hmm.
if you like it, great. If not, we're still friends. It doesn't matter. Like,
Yeah, I think on top of that, there's no real point for a person to have to feel the need to defend or even prove God. I mean, I've never saw a place in the Bible where it said, "Hey, your job is to defend God. Your job is to prove God." Propaganda says it best. It's one of my favorite quotes ever. But he says, trying to prove God is like trying to defend a lion. You just got to open the cage. And I mean, really, what she needs to do is to decide if this is really a personal thing. I mean, she's got to look at the nature of what's being said. I think about myself. Sometimes people say things about Christians that doesn't affect me at all because I don't consider myself in that category of Christian, so it's not like a personal thing. It's not an attack. But if they feel like that's the type of Christian I am, or that's the type of person I am, then I usually say something. Then I usually speak up because I want them to know that's not me. I mean, that's me telling them what I believe. I don't want to be lumped in a group that I'm not a part of, or be a part of this category Christian thing that's not me, because it's not important to, I guess, defend yourself unless it really affects you. Now, if you feel like it's affecting you, or not that I'm saying it's a personal attack, but it kind of affects your emotions, then you should really speak up. And honestly, it doesn't matter if you're a Christian or whatever label you put on you. If somebody is saying things that you feel that are that hurts you emotionally, then you should really speak up and say something, and kind of voice what you're feeling, because that only hurts you in the long run. And you really shouldn't let it go on. And if you find out that, I mean, that's the person's whole purpose in life, is to really just be nasty, then you really need to end those relationships. Because the last time I checked, I mean, Christians, we're supposed to love each other, but nowhere in the Bible it says we're supposed to just, be treated like crap all the time by other people.
Absolutely not.
I guess to put a cap on this topic and kind of tackle the main question from our friend's message, which is about balancing your faith and spreading the word while still maintaining the same relationship with those friends. Um, Justin and I talked about this before we started the podcast today. And the main issue here is the whole idea of maintaining the same relationship.
Yeah, it's not going to be the exact same relationship with the exact same. Something is going to change, whether it's very tiny adjustment or whether it's a huge change, depending on the situation. Like, and with all of this advice, this whole situation, it's very situational.
Hmm.
And so, we can't give a sort of blanket advice. If you're in this situation, then you do this. It's very personal, and it kind of
Yeah.
changes from person to person and from situation to situation. So, I think that in this case, like, something will change,
Right.
but it's just what about that relationship will change.
So while speaking about the change of relationship that may have to happen there, I think it really comes down first to knowing the change of your own heart. A person experiences something when they come to know Jesus. I mean, it's a change, especially to know Jesus as your Savior. And I say that there has to be a change in a person. There's got to be some type of noticeable change, not a full, perfect overnight change, but when you're talking about, like, I want to wear Christ like a garment, and I want the Holy Spirit to reside in me, you know, that there's a change there. And when you start to change, you're going to see some withdrawal from your friends, from the groups you used to hang with. I'm not for sure. I've been drawing blanks, but I know there's, I think I know there's a place in Scripture where it talks about, you change and your friends see it, but they try to pull you back in, but you don't get pulled back in, and basically they just kind of walk away from you, or they talk badly about you. Um, Again, I'm not going to say I'm 100% sure on that being Scripture, but I'm going to do a little research, and if I find it, I'll do a little short blog on it. But when people see that you are different, I mean, they're probably going to withdraw from you because it's not what they want to be. It's not what they're about. But that really only happens if people see Jesus in you, and it's only going to happen if Jesus is really in you. I mean, there's a side note. There's a telling point of a Christian, or there is a telling point of a Christian when there's people around you. Uh, if they can't see Jesus in you, but you claim to have Jesus in you, uh, your relationship with your friends is the least of your worries. I mean, it really is just an afterthought, because you should really be focusing on what's wrong with your relationship with Jesus. I mean, I think that's what it really boils down to overall.
Yeah, I mean, if they can't, if the life of a Christian should look different
Mm-hmm.
than those of non-believers. I mean, I'm not saying better in any way
Oh no,
or
absolutely
like,
not.
yeah, and not in any means like that. But I mean, it should be different because in Christianity, you've been made alive through Christ. And so there should be a difference between, of course, before you become a Christian and after. And I'm not saying it's like instantaneous or, it's like the next day, oh, you're a completely different person. But it's this
Right.
change, and it's, theological word, sanctification.
Yeah.
Um, you know, being sanctified, through the Holy Spirit and becoming more and more like Christ. And it's it is this sort of change. And so there is going to be a difference there, but it's whether or not that difference like ends your friendships or not, and whether or not you allow or the friends allow that difference to end the relationship.
Yeah, I think as I'm thinking about it, I think the change in the relationship is not a change that makes a negative effect. I think it's a positive effect because you
Oh,
now,
absolutely.
you now come from a place of where, you just kind of hung out with your friends and you just trying to do whatever. But now I think it's really about you seeing grace being applied to their lives as well as through Jesus. And I keep going back to this thing how, she wants us to discuss how to balance your faith and spread the word while maintaining the relationships. I think there is no balance to your faith and spreading the word. I think if you live your life according to what you see in the scriptures Jesus doing, the way he interacted with people, I think that in of itself will spread the gospel because they're going to see. Yes, I mean, of course, you got to explain yourself. You're going to have to explain that, this is who I am. I am a Christian. You know, you're going to have to let them know where you stand in that. But I think at the same time, saying those things and being, I mean, you are different. I mean, we can't say anything else. I mean, a non-believer and or a non-Christian and a Christian are two different people when it comes to faith and comes how they're supposed to be living out that faith. So I think in maintaining a relationship that shows them that you love them because
Yes.
you're not just extending grace because you think you're pious and high and mighty, but you're extending grace because God extended grace to you and he loved you. So there's this
Right.
attitude of like, man, I'm loving you right where you're at. Matter of fact, I'm not calling you to change. I may ask you to respect my feelings, but I'm not
Hmm.
calling for you to change anything you're doing. I'm going to love you and I'm going to stand by you and walk with you through your heartaches and your pains, but to know that I'm here because Jesus gave me the ability to be here. I think there's a lot to be said for having that mentality. I think there is no balance in your faith. I think there isn't anything about balancing the word of God. I think it's about how you live those things out in front of people you have relationships with.
Right.
So,
Totally agree.
I mean, between the two of us on opposite ends of the state, literally, I hope we really tagged that topic. I don't know, Justin. Is there anything you would like to add to that?
Yeah, I I think we're good. I think like you said at the end, it's a positive change, and it's we extend grace to others because we've been shown grace first.
Right.
And it's not that, oh, I'm higher than you, I'm mightier, so let me enlighten you
Yeah.
to this whole Jesus thing. It's like I'm gonna love you where you're at, no matter where you are, and I'm gonna love and accept you and be with you. And
Well, I've
so,
got a dog in the background, um, and he won't start barking. There's somebody at my door, so hopefully somebody will come and answer it. I am sorry about that. You see how live we're doing this podcast right now. So, yeah, not that we're in the middle of anything, but, and we just took up a couple minutes of that. But we've got, yeah, and man, wow, I just completely lost my train of thought. It kind of took me off there. But yeah, I think wholeheartedly, you know,
finally, you're the one that's being thrown off track.
right. Hey, you got me this week. I hadn't even planned anything for you, man. You got me,
Yep,
Justin.
1-to-1,
Yeah, there we go.
unintentionally. I didn't
Un,
even do
you
anything.
didn't even do anything, and I got thrown off. Um,
Haha, success.
yeah. So, anyways, last week we tried out a segment. a vocabulary segment. I hope that the word church came across better than than I really wanted it to. But we're going to try something different this week. We're going to throw a new segment in. Um,
Oh, right.
I
New
don't.
segment time.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I was just going to say, dude, I couldn't see you at all
Yeah.
on the screen. I
Well,
was
it's
like,
getting
man, it just
dark.
kept getting darker and darker, and I was like, I can't see Justin, so I don't know if he's paying attention. I don't know if he's asleep over there or what. I mean, he's
No, I'm
talking.
I'm asleep over here. Yeah. In my chair. This chair is so comfortable. You have
Man,
no idea.
shut up, dude. I've got this hard wooden
Uh,
chair under my butt. You probably can hear it squeak every once in a while. Yeah, so we got a new segment coming up. Really don't have a name for it. I want to call it My Pet Peeves. It's just a place where,
all right.
as we're reading through new segments, I guess you'd say, or I'm reading and I just see something that just, it's like a pestering gnat or a mosquito that just keeps flying around your ear. It's there, but you can never get it, and you just want to swat it so bad, and it never goes away.
Yeah.
But I was reading on the Huffington Post today, so I'm gonna bear with me. Let me read this article to you that I found on Huffington Post. So it says the title of it is "Your iPhone can be hacked with a photo of your thumb." I don't know about you, Justin, but that's pretty crazy right there, don't you think?
Yeah, you can hack an iPhone with your thumb. Oh my gosh, what's gonna happen?
I mean, somebody can take a picture. Somebody's going to take a picture of my thumb and hack my iPhone. And I'm thinking to myself, that sounds pretty hard to do. But let me read the article. It says your fingerprint might not keep your iPhone safe anymore. Someone has figured out how to use photos and commercially available software to break through an iPhone 6's fingerprint sensor known as Touch ID. Now, hold on a second. Here's the first thing I want to say. The
Yep.
thing that sticks out to me here is commercially available software. So you're going to pay money to hack somebody's phone. All right. Anyway, Jan Chrysler, a German hacker who also goes by the alias of Starberg, watch out for Starberg, demonstrated the hack at the annual Chaos Computer Club convention. Something you may have seen trending on
Tweeter.
Twitter, as hashtag 31C3 on December 27th. Now, again, I got to stop. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to get through this article, but I've got to say, he hacked something. He's showing people how to be criminal at a convention. So, anyways, Chrysler demonstrated the process in an hour-long presentation, which you can watch here in Germany. I'm sorry, I'm reading the actual links now. He said he used several high-definition, close-range photographs of German Defense Minister Ursula von der Leyen, hand from different angles in the fingerprint identification software called Verifinger to replace her fingerprint. He then created a dummy fingerprint from wood, glue, and plaster.
That's dedication right there.
Man, I'm talking about you. You've got to really want to do something crazy. Okay, so this isn't the first time Chrysler's done something like this. In 2013, Chrysler used a smudge on the screen of an iPhone 5S to replicate a fingerprint and break into a phone, as seen in this video. So he's actually got a video of showing you how to do it. Our phone's PIN codes may not be safe either. Chrysler suggested that the codes used to unlock a phone could be, now listen to this, read in the reflections of a phone's user's eyes. Researchers from the
Oh.
University of Massachusetts demonstrated this earlier this year that people can identify someone's passcode by recording a video of him or her typing for more than for more than 144 feet away. So that's pretty much the end of the article. And I'm not even trying to bag on this guy doing this, but this is what I want to say. Don't buy into the propaganda. Okay?
But Keith, what do you mean? This is so scary. Someone's gonna break into my iPhone.
But that's my point. Media loves to induce fear and anxiety in our society. It is ridiculous that we buy into this. I'm not saying the dude can't break into a phone, but listen to me. The first thing he's got to do is steal your phone. Now, the last time I checked, if you're careful enough and not a doofus, and I may have spoken out of turn, but I've been a doofus before and left my phone laying somewhere, not paying attention to what I'm doing, forgetting. And I mean, we all forget things, but come on, they got to get your phone first, and then they got to get pictures of your thumb. So they gotta go. Let me see. I see that guy standing over there in the park. Let me take some pictures of his thumbs, and then let me go buy the software, and then build the fingerprints from wood, glue, and plaster. Come on, people. you got to get with the program. If we're reading these articles, and it's not just this, I saw this article because it stuck out to me. I love the iPhone. I've always loved the iPhone. I've got a Galaxy and iPhone, no big deal. But I just saw this and I thought, let me read and see what's this all about. I love technology.
Yep.
But then after reading the article, what I saw wasn't a warning, warning people, warning, warning, your iPhone's going to be hacked. Oh my gosh, hide your kids, hide your wife kind of thing. It's, I mean, come on. You can't actually believe that somebody is out to take your phone and then going to hack it by building a fingerprint. Okay, if you're the president of the United States, the prime minister of England, the king of the world, okay, you may have a target on your back. I don't know. They may want to get your phone and hack into it. But hey, let them worry about that. They have people paid to worry about that for them. The average person, your average person, doesn't have time to worry about, will my phone get hacked? Because they can take pictures of my thumbs. That possibility is so slim, it's crazy. Bad things happen every day. If I spend all my life worried about every bad thing, there's no time left in life for anything. So, I mean, honestly, people, go on with your life. And I'm going to steal something from one of my favorite NFL analysts, Chris Carter. Come on, man. You got to do better than that. What do you think, Justin? How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, it's just to me, it's just another way, or it doesn't surprise me because, like, we see media using scare tactics all the time. It's a way for the website to generate traffic, get a click. You see a headlines like, "Oh, someone's gonna hack my iPhone. I might want to click on this,"
Yeah.
and then you find out that it's like a super genius who does like all this stuff and goes through all these steps, and it's just scare tactics to try to get you to click on a link.
If you click on one
So,
link, you can click on another one.
yep, because it
It's
generates revenue.
Yeah, it's no different. I mean, that's what it's doing. I mean, we have created money for them by clicking on these links because the more times you click on it, the more advertisers are going to pay to a person. That's why people clickbait. Listen, if you're a fisherman or if you're any type of person that does anything trying to trap or catch something else, you have to find the best possible bait, something to lure your prey into so you can be rewarded of what you're getting. And that's all it is. They set up a great thing, and we call it clickbaiting, and it's just to lure you into so you can click on it and create more revenue through advertising and marketing for them. So listen, don't buy into the hype. Public Enemy said it. Don't believe the hype. Don't believe the hype. So yeah, couple more things coming up, Justin.
Yep.
There's some playoff games going to be happening this weekend for the Professional Football League, the NFL.
Okay. What,
Couple of
what
games
do you think
going
of the
on.
games?
Oh,
What do
let's
you think
not.
of the games this past weekend?
Are you talking about the college football bowl games?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I wasn't happy. Well, I was happy that Alabama lost. I'm sorry, Roll Tide fans, but I was happy to see Ohio State win because I thought that Florida State could pull out a win over Oregon, but somehow Florida State just shut down in the second half, and I don't have much to say about that, but boo.
Go Ducks.
Yeah, go Ducks. Well, I will tell you that I am pulling for Oregon now, not because they just beat Florida
Yeah.
State, but because that was my second team. That was the team I actually predicted to win. I knew they were going
Yeah.
to beat Florida State. Florida State's my team, but I mean, realistically, looking at that game, I knew that Oregon just had their their ability to be so fast and pulling off plays like 16, 17 seconds of play or getting them off between 16 and 17 seconds is just amazing. And they just did a number on Florida State. Florida State just completely crumbled in the third quarter. And, where I thought it was going to be a close game, Oregon proved to be not just the better team, but the much better team in that moment. So, yeah. So we've got Oregon and Ohio State for the first ever championship game through the playoff for the college for the NCAA, and it's going to be I think it's going to be a pretty good game, but I believe Oregon's going to pull it out.
Yeah. I don't know about any of that, but I know Oregon, their mascot is a duck. He looks like Donald Duck, so I'm gonna pull for them.
Oh my gosh,
So
people, do you see what I'm dealing with here? He's talking about me. Come on now. I want to talk about some sports, and he's over there. I like the mascot. Squabble, squabble, squabble.
Yep, that's how you determine it.
Anyways, there are some games going to be going on. I like to keep people up to date on our sports because I love sports, especially football. Um, we are recording this podcast while Carolina and Arizona are playing, which is
Oh,
kind of
really?
cool. Yeah, they're playing right now. It's
Gotcha.
the first of the playoff games for this weekend. Um, excuse me. Actually, Carolina's up 10-7 right now, so that's kind of cool. I
Nice.
kind of picked Carolina to win this game, not because I think they're better than Arizona overall, but Arizona's running third string quarterback, so there it is. Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, and Baltimore play tonight, and Indy and Cincy play tomorrow, as well as Dallas and Detroit. So it's a full slate of NFL games this weekend. I'm going to be looking forward to watching a couple of those. So I don't know about you, Justin, but I'm sure to watch something. I'll probably be watching the Pittsburgh Baltimore game tonight.
Yeah, it'll probably be on the background of something, and I'll just look at it occasionally. I don't know, maybe.
Well, speaking of something that's probably a little more on your line, I was perusing through some music websites and looking to see what was coming out here in the future.
Oh,
And I
rad.
noticed that on February 6th, Jeremy Camp, which I'm not a huge Jeremy Camp fan, but some of his music's pretty good. He's got a new CD dropping on the February 6th. But what's really important overall that is Aaron Gillespie is dropping another solo excursion on February 6th
Nice.
too. I know his last one was a full-on like worship set. Probably
Yep.
suspecting the same thing again. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Nice.
Um, yeah, I mean, I dug his first one. It was awesome. Um, just just overall, I've kind of followed Aaron through Under Oath and then with the
Yeah.
Almost and stuff. So it's been really good
Yep.
stuff that's come from him. So I'm looking forward to that as well. I don't know how you feel about
Wasn't
that.
it you or Ryan that met him one time, like
Yeah,
at
we
Disney?
yeah we we were in Hollywood Studios. Is it Hollywood?
Yeah.
Yeah, Hollywood Studios, and we were walking down one of those backlot streets where it looks like the New York City area, and
Yeah.
um, I, I hadn't seen him with his haircut, but he had cut his hair, and I looked at it, I was like, Ron, I was like, is that Aaron Gillespie? And I know I'm sounding like a little teenage girl here, but I mean, you've watched the dude play drums and sing in this band for years, and you're like, dude, this dude's awesome. But yeah, so we saw him, and we're like, okay, because I'm not the stalker type either. I'm not the big starstruck fan, Because okay, so we saw him, and then Ron was like, man, I want to get a picture, and he didn't want to. So my other son, he grabbed him and said, we're going to go get a picture. So Ron did get a picture with Aaron Gillespie. Uh, the funniest thing about that story is that there's Ryan standing next to Aaron. His throat's all messed up, and he's got this little cough, and Aaron's like,
Uh-huh.
are you sick? Should I be next to you? Am I going to catch something? So it was an interesting meeting. So yeah, absolutely. And then of course what was the coolest part? We went to they got the Muppets 3D area, and you go see the
Oh yeah.
Muppets. He was standing
Yeah.
beside us, and we were all like everybody was kind of like taking secret pictures, like, look, Aaron's in the Muppets 3D area. But so yeah, that was I guess that was a little treat. I did like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyways, far as music goes, yeah, there you go.
Cool.
There is
Yeah.
one. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh no, I was just gonna say I don't know of any other releases that are coming out soon, but
Um, I think
it's the beginning
there's
of the year. Typically, January is not a huge
no, it's
time
not.
for releasing albums or movies or anything like that.
No, I think the only movie that's really got any notoriety coming out is Liam Neeson in Taken 3.
Oh, jeez. Do we
I'm just
really need another?
I was thinking about that. I'm like, man. I'm like, here's the third
Why?
one. I'm like, is the premise any? And I did get to see the trailer, so I must let me just say, I'm a sucker for action movies. They're great. They could probably do the same plot over and over, which they usually do in action movies.
Yeah.
especially trilogies. But yeah, I saw. I think his wife is murdered, and now they're going after his daughter again.
Again.
But I'm sitting there thinking to myself, I'm like, but don't these people understand that messing with Liam Neeson, messing with the guy's family, is only going to bring pain to them? You know, I mean, look at him. He's like, what? Like, you don't want to see me get angry. Oh, that's the Hulk. I'm sorry. I have a certain set of skills. I'm thinking, what's going on here? I mean, and then I'm thinking about his daughter. I was like, hey, dummy, get a panic room, hide in it. I don't know.
It's like Princess Peach all over again. Just keeps getting kidnapped over and over and over again. It's like, really? Seriously? You don't have a plan against this? Ever?
So I figured it's going to be another action-packed movie, and yeah, people will pay money to go see it. Like we paid to go see Exodus last week. I
Yeah.
haven't stopped talking about that, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we had we do our Tuesday night thing. We have a little Tuesday night thing at the house, and had some people over, and we talked about Exodus, Gods and Kings for a little bit. And the more I talk about it, the less I like it.
Yeah.
That's my problem. The more I talk about it, the less I like it.
Oof.
But yeah, man. So we're just hanging back, and dude, we want to say thanks so far for hanging out with us.
Yeah.
We I think we talked a little bit more today than we expected. Um,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. I think we're getting close to our time. We're trying to keep it right around an hour. We're a little over.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah, we're about an hour and 5 minutes in.
All right.
Yeah,
There we go.
absolutely. But yeah, the things that are going on. I gotta say this though. It's my favorite time of year. It's the football playoffs, college
Here we
basketball.
go.
Yeah,
Sports again.
but it is sports. And college basketball is getting ready to get heated up because all the conference games are going to start picking off, and it's just my
Yeah.
favorite time of year, except for the cold weather here. We're going to get some cold weather this week. Oh my gosh.
You have cold weather? You have cold weather? We have cold weather here.
Yeah, but you're supposed to have cold weather. You're in the mountains.
Yeah. I mean, it gets below zero.
Yeah, it's going to get down to 18 here this week.
Oh, 18.
Yeah.
That's a good day here.
Well, hey, you know, it was your choice.
Oh.
It's your
Well, I mean,
choice.
if I was predestined to come to App, was it really?
Okay, Mr. Reformation.
I win.
Yeah, I'm sure you win in that freezing cold temperature.
Uh, I'll bask in the warmth of glory of winning.
Well, is there any shout outs you want to give this week before we end the program?
Um, Shout out to my mom.
Word. Love your mom. She's awesome.
Yeah, she's great.
Dude, I saw
So,
your
hi,
dad today
mom.
like our page. It was so cool.
Oh,
I saw his like it looks like his you're looking at somebody taking a selfie and he's got this very
yeah.
serious looking face on his selfie, and
Yeah.
I saw his head come up and I was like, yeah, David Davis has liked our page. Woo! But yeah, so yeah, cool shout out to the moms.
Yeah.
I want to if we get a chance, I want to give a special shout out to a friend of mine, Robbie. You know who you are. You may be
Ah.
social media challenged, but dude, you are awesome, and we thank you for helping us spread the word. Yeah, I know, but his word's not mine. Yeah, and like we said last week, we're always going to kind of pitch you some people that are doing good things, and don't forget about
Mhm.
heartsupport.com, man. Go out and support them. I really believe in their cause, Unite the Scene. Um,
Mhm.
I want to give a shout out to a couple of other guys, Pete Mitchell and Peyton Jones at the Church Planter Podcast. They've given me a lot of good insight. Talked to them about a lot of things that helped me just understand, what it is that I was supposed to do, because I really thought planting a church was the thing, but maybe it's not. And that's okay, because you got to know what God's calling you to do. And
Mhm.
yeah, check them out, man.
Oh,
Yeah, go ahead.
yeah. I also have another shout out.
Yeah,
So my friend Kelsey, she went over to Oregon
word.
this past week, and she actually went to Trinity Church in Portland. and she got me. She met Odd Thomas and Braille and some of the guys from Beautiful Eulogy on Humble Beast Records, and
Humble Beast.
they actually signed like the church pamphlet for me, so I have that, and so I totally geeked out over that. So shout out to those guys for doing that and for making my day.
Humble Beast. Now we talked about Humble
Yep.
Beast a little bit last week, and man, hey, much props to them guys out there doing what they're doing, bringing
Yeah.
together a scene that's just like killing it. But yeah, Justin geeked out. I'm not starstruck a lot, but it was pretty cool to see that. Like I was telling a friend, I was like, man, it was really cool to see them guys like just throw their names on something and say, here, I guess we respect you for being a fan. That's cool to me. But yeah,
Yeah.
you can check out Humble Beast, humblebeast.com. Also, churchplannerpodcast.com, churchplannermagazine.com. You check those guys out over there. They're doing a lot of good stuff. Got a lot of good information as well.
Mm.
I guess as for us, man, we're hitting about an hour and 10 minutes. Jeez, man, we've put it on it today. Um,
Woo! You
so,
can't get us to shut up.
yeah,
And that's the
word.
whole point. Bam!
Yep. Hey, like we said, go visit us at our website, forgettingwalls.com. Check us out on Facebook, facebook.com/forgettingwalls. Check us out on Twitter at Forgetting Walls. I mean, it's pretty easy. It's the same thing over and over and over. I'm not promising you anything, but we're going to try to have some more content up this week, a couple more blogs.
Yep.
We've decided to go ahead and do a podcast every week, so bear with us. We are on iTunes now, so check us out there. Go subscribe to the
Woo!
podcast. Woohoo! There's some instructions if you can't find it through the search on our website. But go and subscribe to us. Leave us a review when you can. That helps us get out to others. And man, hey, I know you're probably going to hear all this again in the outro, but dude, we love you. We appreciate you, and we always want you to remember that he's Justin, and I'm Keith. And
Thanks for letting me outro myself.
oh, you're
Jeez.
so worried. Hey, you get the outro anyways, dude. Come on, you know you
Well,
get the.
yeah, but I don't get to enjoy that.
Okay, well, I'm Keith.
I'm Justin, and thank you for listening to the Forgetting Walls podcast.
And
Do you have
remember,
anything else to add?
well, yeah, I'm going to give us our tagline. Lord, he is killing
All
me
right, go
tonight.
for it.
He's all over me tonight. It's like a little brother who just can't quit.
Uh,
Hey, we just want to say thank you, and remember, people are people and not projects. So love them like you love yourself, and we'll see you next time. Peace.
all right, love you.
No, it wasn't me. It was the one-armed man.
Thank you for listening to the Forgetting Walls podcast. If you're subscribing to us on iTunes, leave us a rating to help us spread the word about this podcast. Remember, the only way this works is if you share your story, so be sure to visit the website and leave us a comment at forgettingwalls.com, or find us on Twitter at forgettingwalls and facebook.com/forgettingwalls.
Peace.